Good morning. Happy Saturday. This is the High School Saturday Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Sandert with you. As always, the show brought to you by Ambition Electric, providing quality and reliable electrical work for nearly 20 years. Contact our good friend Joe Davis for any of your electrical needs. It's a special Saturday. Obviously, state wrestling kind of wrapped up yet last week. We talked to Luke last week about, just the first ever girls state championships happening, all that good stuff. But then we also have official district brackets, and it's a special Saturday because all hour long or for a good chunk of the show, we will be joined in studio by the one and only Luke Mullen of Lincoln Journal Star. Luke, what's up, man?
I feel like I got a little bit of sensory overload in here. Usually I'm just sitting in my apartment talking to you over the phone, but there's so much going on in this radio studio, seeing how you get to work.
Yeah. So actually what's funny, now I just kind of told you right before we went, like 30 seconds before we went on, I was like, you know what? I guess we'll be able just to talk for however long we want, because normally we scrunch it into like a 15, 20-minute conversation. Now we get free flowing. We get just a conversation here. We can go on for days about whatever you want to talk about. Have you played Wordle?
I did. I actually, I tried it based on your recommendation, and I found myself getting a little frustrated. I'm not going to lie. I see where the hype's at. You want to, guess the word, feel smarter than everybody else. But, it's just like, there's so many 5-letter words, and, you get 3 letters and you're like, I'm close, but you don't really have it. And I don't know. It's a little frustrating at times.
I think what I've learned how to do, I just start with a 5-letter word, the same one every single time. Like right when I started playing, I started with power every single time. And then once that did not work a couple days in a row, I was like, okay, I need to scrap my whole strategy here and figure out something new. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Sutter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys all show long. Send in any thoughts, any comments, any shout outs that you want to give. Obviously, there's been some sub-district games in some of the smaller classes throughout this past week. We can touch on those because I know Luke was out in Malcolm. Is that correct? So you were out in Malcolm. We'll kind of talk about that. But then I want to go throughout the course of the show, not every single one of the brackets, but there's a couple interesting or potential matchups that are really intriguing, not only on the boys' side, but also on the girls' side. Before we really get deep into it, I want to kind of update folks on what the programming is going to be this weekend here on the Ticket. So obviously High School Saturday show, will go until 10 a.m. today. Then we'll have Carter Longy will have his show from 10 to 11, directly following us. Later today, this afternoon at 3:30, a couple minutes before, we're going to have district basketball girls between Omaha Burke and Lincoln High. Dominique Kelly has that team rolling, 19-2 overall on the season. So I'm excited to be calling that one. That's girls high school basketball once again. And then tomorrow, Nebraska women's basketball will finish up their regular season. That game tips off at 2:00 against Northwestern. And then you can tune in right after the final horn of that one for the Nebraska women's basketball post-game show. And then we'll continue. It's going to be a busy couple weeks, as it will be for myself, for Luke, for DP. State basketball will happen in a couple weeks as well, but it's districts all right now. I guess, Luke, we'll start here. You've been to a couple sub-district games. What stood out to you in these first couple sub-district games that you've been to?
Well, first thing is just how many fans show up. Obviously, it's a different ordeal than just a regular season game. You get these packed gyms, if you're not there 20 minutes early, it's going to be standing room only. So you love to see the passion and just all the support from the different communities that I've been to. And, especially seeing a little bit of that district final action last night on the girls' side too. The intensity just goes up an extra notch when it's your last time. If you're a senior playing on your home court, it's a case of you got to win, get another game with all your teammates that you battled it out all season. So I just love kind of the intensity and the atmosphere we get at this time of the year.
How much you've been to a lot of games, obviously this year I've been to a decent amount, but like how much does the intensity change from just a regular season game when it's, I don't know, just a non-rivalry game to now it's postseason basketball and it means something? Is it a pretty noticeable change?
Oh, definitely. There's some some essences of the game that
Mhm.
kind of have the same thing, like a slow first quarter, or maybe, some teams always start slow out of halftime, that kind of stuff, those habits that you form over the course of the whole season, they're still going to be
Mhm.
here now. But, really during a regular season, it's kind of the coach's challenge to, get your team fired
Yeah.
up and playing at that intensity. Like, I on the girls' side, I throw it back to, Millard South is number one, undefeated in Class A. I watched them play against Northeast, and I mean, it was a pretty sparsely attended game.
Yeah.
Not a crazy atmosphere in the gym. And that team, they played fast. They played with tempo. They played with fire, and that goes down to their mentality. To the coach's preparation. And when you have 25 or 20 regular season games or whatever, obviously there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be games where it's a little bit harder to maybe have that mental focus, but definitely at this time of the year, you got to be locked in. You got to be ready to bring it for all 48 minutes.
I know we've talked about it before in our weekly conversations, but I kind of want to revisit it because this year is going to be intense. The week of state basketball, especially, is going to be intense because it's not two separate weeks; it's all crammed into one, and so it's kind of weird how it's all kind of going down. I mean, for that reason, they have, or because of this, they have the Big Ten Wrestling Championships this next weekend at PBA. Then the following weekend, they have the entire state basketball slate, both girls and boys action as well. So I mean, what's the buzz going to be like downtown? It's going to be wild to be downtown. It's going to be a great atmosphere at PBA.
For sure. If you don't have your hotel yet, I'm sure it's a
Yeah.
it's a scramble to get here from anywhere in the state. And that's really kind of the exciting thing is obviously you have, over the last few years, it's, like a 3-day tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Last year they moved it to a 4-day to kind of spread things out a little bit more. And now we have 5 days, everything just compact, or 6 days, sorry, into, just one week, one glorious week of high school basketball. So, to me, it's going to be really fun just to get that combination of girls and boys, because I don't know, at least from my perspective, usually you have the girls tournament first, and it's,
Yep.
it's hype. You love the championships. You get to see, 6 teams hoist that, state trophy. And it's a great time. Then you're a little tired and you're like, oh, we got to do it all again for
Next
boys.
week.
So, it's going to be definitely a good time to have a little bit of trade-off. You get to see a girls game, a boys game, and you just
Mhm.
get kind of a sense of all of the talent. You're going to have teams from all over the state too.
Well, that's really interesting because we've talked a lot about how the talent has really grown in Lincoln, and not only Lincoln, but in just surrounding areas, especially Omaha. You have the big time recruits in girls basketball. Fremont's Taylor McCabe going to Iowa, obviously. I mean, this is going to be a week where just general basketball fans that might not have have children playing on a team, or their kids might not be going to the school. Like, this is a time for general basketball fans to live at PBA, because you're going to be able to see players like Britt Prince. You're going to be able to see Taylor McCabe. You're going to be able to see the future Allison Weiners and Alexis Markowski's. Like, that's the week that you're going to want to be paying attention.
Oh, for sure. I mean, usually you see, some of those lower class games are a little bit sparsely
Mhm.
attended at PBA, and then you get the Class A,
Yep.
Semifinals, and the whole lower bowls filled up, and it gets loud in there. And I think with the scheduling this year, I think it's definitely going to increase attendance for all
Mhm.
classes, just because if your team's playing in an hour or two, might as well show up early, see
Yeah.
some of these other talented games and players.
Are you planning to live at PBA? Like,
Oh, for
do you
sure.
just
Yeah.
have a cot or an air mattress blown up already in the back that you're just going to be
It definitely
hanging out there?
it makes me miss. I used to live downtown, and now I moved away and I'm regretting it.
Okay, so you were out at Malcolm the other day. I mean, talk about that matchup, and kind of who stood out to you, because some of those smaller classes, we don't get to talk about them enough, and because the Class A and Class B ranks are really fun to talk about. So, I mean, tell us about Malcolm, the Clippers, and they're going to state, right?
Yep, they are. It was a great atmosphere last night, and honestly, you have to kind of root for them a little bit,
Mhm.
considering last year they were undefeated the entire regular season, losing districts, lose to Winnebago, shock in the district final right there at home. Just heartbreak for them in one of the best years in school history. A lot of talented seniors that
Mhm.
didn't get to end their career at state. So, they come back this year and it's a little bit different. They have some younger players, some juniors to enter the mix. And they were just kind of on the edge of state all season, knowing it's going to be a little bit of a grind to get there. And Syracuse, a really tough opponent to get in the district final. They made state last year as well. One of the best post players in the state, Lily Vollertson. So it was a great effort from Malcolm. Their junior guard, Alyssa Fortick. If you're going to be there at state, probably one of the shorter starters there as a guard, but man, she can let it fly. She is just a great shooter. I remember watching her as a freshman, when she was just coming off the bench and talking to Coach Klepper there in Malcolm. And he was saying, it doesn't matter how tall she is as long as she can get it over the defender. And she's definitely proved that time and time again.
In the smaller classes, who on the girls basketball side of things, who are some players to watch? Because we'll touch on the boys as well here in a little bit. But I mean, first, let's start with the girls. Who are some players to watch in those smaller classes, like Alyssa, those kind of players?
Yeah, well, looking at C1, some of the different results that came in last night. North Bend Central, they have some of the best players in the whole state. They made some noise there at the state tournament last year as well. And here in the city, you got Lincoln Lutheran, which is a little bit more interesting. They don't necessarily have a star scorer.
Yeah,
that's a defensive oriented team. So if you're looking for a
low
good
scoring,
good half court defense, team basketball, you can definitely watch Lutheran there at the state tournament. And really, you got to look at the Loomis Godel sisters from Bridgeport there in C2. They are going to be incredibly fun to watch. And Hastings St. Cecilia as well. Bailey Kissinger, one of the best guards in the state last couple of years. She's going to UNK for college.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I want to get back to basketball here in the middle segment, but we kind of buried the lead, and that's my fault. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you. We'll get to all of your comments, all of your thoughts, your questions later on in the show here. But once again, we're joined by Luke Mullen of the Lincoln Journal-Star in the studio, Nebraska Sports Writer of the Year. Can't forget that. Okay, first of all, I mean, how was that? Like when you heard about it, what was the immediate thought? Like, walk us through that. Like, oh no, you just shrugged your shoulders. Are you like, no big deal? Like, I'm just gonna do me?
Well, I was really just couldn't believe it. I just got a random phone call for some out of area, area code. I just pick it up and it's like, oh, I'm here from national sports media. I want to let you know that you won. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. And that was it.
I mean, really, I've been doing it for a couple of years. Yeah. Obviously, I started on volleyball and baseball 2 or 3 years ago when I was still in college. But I mean, just moved over to full time just this August or over the summer a little bit earlier. So it's really been fantastic. I mean, it's just getting the chance to cover all these different communities in my home state, meet all these coaches and players has been phenomenal.
Okay. We're going to look on your career right now. I mean, do you have like a favorite game that you've covered or a coach or an interview that you always think about when it comes to postseason time or just a favorite game, even in the regular season, whether it's football or basketball this year that you've covered that you think back and like, wow, that was a heck of a game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, last year at the boys basketball state tournament, the prep Bell West game there in the semifinals, I think it was like 92-86 there, went to overtime. And it was just the greatest, I think, most well-played high school game I've seen. And obviously the state championship a day later was so close to it in quality too. Yeah. The runs that Millard North and Bell West made, I'll just never forget some of those top tier players. Got to see Hunter Salas throw down some dunks at Millard North too. Went to a home game there a couple of years ago, seeing Chucky play on his home court too. Seeing those guys in college now, who knows, they might make the NBA and I'll be like, oh, I covered them in high school.
Exactly. And like, that was one thing that I just now thought about was it's going to be interesting this state tournament because we're not going to have those high caliber names, like the names of the Chucky Hepburn, Hunter Salas. I mean, you have Jason Green from Millard North who will probably make it. I mean, you can throw David Harm into that category. But he's not high Division I. He's not going to Wisconsin. He's not going to Gonzaga. Isaac Trout with Grand Island, they unfortunately probably won't make it. So like, it's going to be interesting to see who really steps up in this state tournament because we don't have the Chuckies. We don't have the Hunter Salases. We still have really good players and we be in the state of Nebraska, but they aren't being publicized as highly as they were last year, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. There's still a lot of Division I caliber players. I'll add Josiah Dotzler from Bell West to the mix. He's still uncommitted.
And you can throw Caleb Jacobson from Ashland Greenwood in that as well.
And I just think last year's, Salitz and Hepburn, those guys were part of kind of a historic recruiting class, and not basketball, but I think next year's football class is kind of shaping up the same way. 9 3-stars or better there in the recruiting rankings.
Oh, that's really interesting then. All right. I guess give us a couple names if you can. I know I'm throwing all these topics at you, but let's test how good you are, man. No, I'm kidding.
Well, Nebraska's got a couple of them
exactly
already. Gatula, Sledge, Bramer from Pierce, and then you look at the Lincoln area. Benny Ngoy from Lincoln High, he's a 3-star. Malachi Coleman, he has just been blowing up all year, 4-star recruit. Pretty much, I think everybody in the Big Ten's trying to get him right now.
Yeah, Malachi, and he's really got a really cool story to go along with his journey. Sure. I mean, it's fantastic. If you haven't heard it, I know me and Nicole Griffith from 1011, we interviewed him a couple of weeks ago on her show. You can find that on the podcast page on the ticketfm.com, and I'm sure multiple news outlets have talked to Malachi as well. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you all show long. You can always hit us up on the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We are live there. My bad, I did not tell you that we were going to be on stream, so I hope you're good with being on camera.
I think I wore a hat today.
Exactly. No, we're all good. And then you can always hit us up on Twitter, Nick_Sainer, and at LMullen7 on Twitter, and we'll help you out and get to your thoughts all show long. All right, before we get to break, let's talk about some state wrestling, because that happened last weekend. It concluded up at the CHI health center, and it was the first time girls wrestling was a sanctioned sport and got a sanctioned state championship medal.
Yeah, it was just a great event. You talk about state basketball having a lot going on, but wrestling, it's a ton packed into 3 days. You literally get those wrestlers living in the hallways of the CHI Health Center there between their matches, and just a fantastic event. Love seeing some of the best wrestlers all year long. Antrell Taylor from Millard South, I think, really impressed me. Garrett Grice becoming a 4-time state champion at Bell East. Two Lincoln state champions there as well, Gabe Turman and Keith Smith. So good to see the Lincoln area represent. But you mentioned it, that first ever NSA sanctioned girls tournament, and that was just huge because couple years ago, I think it came to a vote of sanctioning the sport, and it fell just short. Schools kind of wondering if they'd have enough interest, if they could really have another coach, or maybe the resources to get that sport sanctioned. And 2 years later, it comes back up, and there's a lot of interest. And I think some of it goes down to last year they had the unsanctioned state meet through the National Wrestling Association.
Interesting.
And the girls who wrestled in that just loved it. They really couldn't wait to get it at that same level as the boys. And credit to the NSAA. I think it was fantastic. That first day of the state championships, the first 4 matches there were the girls, the lower classes of the girls. Cool. And you get that 12,000, 13,000 fans there in the arena. I'm sure a little bit of nerves for some of those wrestlers, but phenomenal event and an experience they'll never forget.
Wrestling's alive in this state. Like high school wrestling is alive because the fans there came in large numbers.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's why they have to hold it at CHI every year, because it's pretty much sold out. You get everybody coming in and they want to be there all day and watch all the matches.
So before we get to break, I believe Aubrey Pearson from UTAN, she's a freshman.
Yep.
Did she win state?
Yeah.
Undefeated.
Yes.
That's unbelievable. Aubrey Pearson, excuse me. Shout out to her from UTAN. She finished 49-0. You mentioned Garrett Grice from Bellevue East would have finished 50-0 with his win. 4-time state champion there. I mean, just really, really good stuff. I mean, I guess this is really bad for me to ask. Do they do team standings? Is it team standings there? Do you know who won overall team?
South Sioux City won the first girls championship.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get to break. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. If you're just now joining us on wherever you may be on your Saturday morning, if you just got into the car, hope you're staying warm. Luke Mullen of the Lincoln Journal-Star is with me. We will take a break. When we come back, it's time to dive deep into a multitude of the district basketball brackets, both on the boys and girls side. We'll start with Class B and work our way up. Coming up next on the High School Saturday Show, brought to you by Ambition Electric.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course.
Ow! God! Ow! Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
They say one great thing leads to another, and that's especially true when you visit a Great Clips salon. When you sit down for a haircut with the skilled and friendly stylist at one of our thousands of convenient Great Clips locations, they'll not only make your hair look great, they'll make you feel great too. And that's something you can't help but share with the world. Download our online check-in app today and opt in to get a ready next text when you're up next. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Security First Bank. We're the bank, and we make your mortgage more manageable with flexible terms, trusted advice, and competitive rates. When you work with us, we'll know your name, but we'll also get to know your home dreams too. Security First Bank of Lincoln. Voted best small bank in Nebraska by Newsweek magazine. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 505011.
Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers is all about the good and creating more of it. More drive-through celebrations, more weekend traditions, more family dinners and lunches, more car picnics and road trips, more desserts, maybe more second desserts, more celebrating being together as much as we can. There's always room for more good and more Freddy's. Keep the good going with a taste that brings you back.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Winter is upon us. Is your home prepared? If your furnace isn't keeping up or you've thought about replacing it, John Henry's has a new year, new unit special. When you purchase a select heating and cooling system from John Henry's, we will give you the furnace for free. There are also equipment and LES rebates up to an additional $850. This offer expires February 28th, so don't miss out. Find out more at jhlincoln.com or give John Henry's a call or text today.
435-5555. Southeast Community College has learning centers in Falls City, Hebron, Nebraska City, Plattsmouth, Wahoo, and York so that you can take credit and non-credit classes at a center nearby without having to travel an hour or more to campus. By taking online classes and those at a learning center, you can earn your degree from SCC where and when it's convenient for you, all at a cost that won't stand in the way of your education. Learn more about SCC's learning centers at southeast.edu/learning centers. SCC, your path to possible.
James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric always makes safety a top priority for our home and office. In under just 1 hour, their team installed the state-of-the-art air scrubber system directly into our existing HVAC ductwork. This technology purifies the air and reduces exposure to common bacteria and viruses, creating a safer breathing environment for my family. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Bagels & Joe is ready for winter with white chocolate raspberry cream cheese, great on any bagel. And try a grilled Italian panini for lunch with ham, prosciutto, banana peppers, and provolone on a sun-dried tomato bagel. Bagels & Joe, 4 Lincoln locations.
I don't know about you guys, but I have been getting back out and hitting different restaurants, hitting different places. And I could not be more excited to get back to Bearshin in Benson, one of the best beer gardens around. The weather's starting to get good, and coinciding with that, they are going back to their full food menu. We're talking the burgers, the Johnny Hammer Pants sandwich, the pretzels, the fries, the salads, if you're one of those people. They got all of it. And they are now open Tuesday through Sunday. That allows you to get over to Bearshin, check out the food, the beer, hang out in the beer garden. You can get that $7 Big Cheese Double Wagyu burger special on Tuesdays. Also, happy hour, 3 to 6, Tuesday through Friday. Don't miss it. Plus, if you're a soccer fan, it's the place to be in Benson.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course.
Ow! God! Ow! Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
The Ticket, High School Saturday on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the High School Saturday Show, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you, as always, joined today by Luke Mullen of the Lincoln Journal-Star in studio. He's hanging out with me all hour long. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you the entire hour. Feel free to hit us up on the video stream, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and then you can always hit us up on Twitter as well, Nick_Sainert and at LMullen7. The show is sponsored by Ambition Electric. Contact our good friend Joe Davis for any of your electrical needs. They've been providing it for over 20 years. Phone number there, 402-217-3415. All right, Luke, time to we kind of hit everything in that first segment. Talked about a little even football recruiting. We talked state wrestling and then a little bit of basketball to start things off. Let's go back to basketball. See, some of the lower classes have finished up districts, I believe so, right?
Yep, especially on the girls' side. I think got to give a quick shout out to the Waverly girls team. Went to Scottsbluff last night. That was a 3-14 matchup in the district finals and pulled off the upset to make it to state.
Okay, so that's really interesting. I mean, so how many of these games have kind of already finished, have wrapped up? How many of these brackets are all finished up?
On the girls' side, everything C1 to D2. Those teams are set. They're going to state. Still a couple district finals there in B. A lot of it comes down to getting these different gyms ready, getting officials out, because obviously, there's a lot of travel involved. Got to meet in the middle some places. But in terms of the boys' side of things, everybody in Class B is going today. And then C1 to D2, we've got today, Monday, and Tuesday. That'll get sorted.
Okay, cool. So let's head to Class B. Let's do let's do Class B. Or you know what? I'm going to switch it up on you. Let's do Class A girls, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
All right. So Class A girls, number 1 overall seed Millard South. I mean, 24-0 on the year. One of the more powerful teams. One of the former Patriots. Jamie Horan is playing at Creighton right now. They've kind of been a factory the last couple of years. Millard South is. They have, I mean, obviously being the number 1 overall seed, a relatively easy path to PBA. I wouldn't imagine that they have too much of a trouble getting through their district bracket.
For sure. They just the talented junior core, and yeah, it is juniors, Chloe Lemon, Maya Babbitt, and Cora Olson. Those 3 can combine for 50, 60 a game, just those 3, and they got a ton of players around them too.
Okay, let's just go to A2 right now. Fremont, 20-2 overall. I mean, have you been able to see Taylor McCabe play this year?
Yeah.
She's able to shoot the lights out on any given night.
And she's even better than last year too.
Which is wild.
Yeah. I mean, you'll be hard pressed to find a better pure 3-point shooter. I mean, her step back is just impossible to defend too.
When is that a recruit that in a couple years Nebraska fans are going to look back and say, "Man, I wish we could have gotten her instead of Iowa."
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
because I see her having the ability to be similar to Caitlin Clark at Iowa. Not necessarily, as deadly of an all-around player, all-around scorer. I mean, Caitlin Clark is pulling up from the logo just nonchalantly and drilling them just for fun with 8 minutes left in the half and down 3, like in a close game. I'm not sure I see Taylor McCabe being that way, but she's definitely somebody that can cause problems for any team, whether it's at the high school level or at the Division I Big Ten level too.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me.
No, it's all good.
You see Markowski being Gatorade Player of the Year last year and, dominating the state tournament, coming around and, being a key contributor for Nebraska. And, to me, there's no doubt McCabe's going to be in the same running for those awards and then potential to have a pretty similar impact at a different position there in college.
Well, and if I remember correctly, Fremont has kind of pumped out a couple strong Division I recruits the last couple of years. I mean, a little bit ago, it was a while ago, but Jessica Shepard, I believe she came from Fremont and went to Nebraska. Then they had the coaching switch. And I mean, geez, that was almost 7 years ago now. Had the coaching change, and she ended up at Notre Dame, got drafted to the WNBA as well. So that's Jessica Shepard. I believe, if I remember correctly, Fremont was where she went to high school. And the text line can always correct me if they feel the need to. All right, A3, Lincoln High is the number 1 seed. We kind of mentioned it right out of the gate. Dominique Kelly has them 19-2 overall. I mean, just speak to the job that the former Husker has done back here in Lincoln High. She went to Lincoln Northeast, but she's coaching here at Lincoln High. It's a phenomenal job what she's doing.
Yeah, and former teammates with Lincoln Northeast coach Jared Yaramania as well. So that'll be a fun battle. Those two are still pretty close, and I think those teams met during the regular season too. Lincoln High came away with that matchup, but like you said, I mean, I think a lot of it just goes to show the culture that a head coach can really establish. And you'll be hard pressed to find someone more passionate about her players, more caring and hardworking than Coach Kelly for sure.
Okay. So I guess when we look through the districts, I mean, obviously you have 7 brackets. There's a couple Lincoln teams as the number 1, a couple other Lincoln teams, I should say, as the hosts. In A5, you have Lincoln Southwest, who is 17-5. The number 2 seed in that bracket is Lincoln East. And it's kind of a down year with Lincoln East. I mean, they made it to, or they did not make it to state last year. The boys did for the Spartans, but they had, Olivia Kugler and Haley Peterson last year, and they all graduated. So I don't know if it's really a rebuilding year, but they're used to being much better than 13-10 overall, especially with their head coach.
Yeah. I think Coach Dennis Pritchard has done a fantastic job this year, and they definitely started slow, but January, February, they've really been coming on. And in particular, that kind of full court press, intense style that they tend to play, that lends itself very well to postseason basketball.
Okay, so looking just at Lincoln teams here, I mean, is there a chance that one of them gets knocked off, or is the dark horse, or is the team that does the knocking off? I mean, if you look up and down, 2 seeds are Lincoln Northeast, Lincoln East, like we said. Then you have Pius, Southwest, and Lincoln High are all number 1 seeds. I mean, who has a chance to knock off or be upset?
Definitely
with their brackets.
Yeah, I think in A6, Pius is the host there, and they could go up against Bell West, which Bell West won that matchup very, very early in the season. Admittedly, a lot has has probably changed among those teams since, but that's a Thunderbird team that can score, that can really push it. And, Pius tends to slow things down, pack it in a little bit. So hard to say which kind of style would work out there.
Well, and what's interesting with Pius, I mean, they've been so used to just dominating and being able to throw it down low to Alexis Markowski that this year they really had to learn how to use all their players. And they'll start out shooting pretty poor in a game. I mean, the game that I watched against Lincoln East, they started out slow, but then they came on late and they use their defense. And like you said, they control the pace and they were able to stop or at least slow down Madeline Campbell that game. It's going to be interesting to see how far they get into postseason play because Ryan Pasota, all he's ever known is state championships or state tournament appearances. And so it's going to be really interesting this year for Ryan Pasota, the head coach, and for this program. Obviously, Coach Markowski, Andy Markowski, is an assistant for them as well. But it's going to be really interesting, and they're kind of led by Alexis's sister Addison as well, but she's much shorter and a little bit better of a perimeter shooter than Alexis was.
Yeah, definitely one of the better 3-point shooting guards there in Class A. She does a great job at getting open for those shots. And to me, that Pius team, it's all about, the cut and pass. If they can really get that motion going, Charlie Hagedorn down in the post, Madeline Navratil, both of those players have really shown me a lot in moments, but it's really impossible to have that same level of consistency that Alexis Markowski did.
Yeah. And we knew, high school basketball fans just realized whether it was at PBA, whether it was in a district game or even just in a regular season game. I mean, Alexis Markowski dominated at that level. And that was part of the curiosity for me personally, because I didn't know how that game would translate to Big Ten basketball, in all honesty. I mean, she has super good feet, obviously fundamentally sound, but you're facing a lot bigger bodies and more physical style of play in the Big Ten. And I think Alexis has really translated her game well to the Big Ten basketball stage, which, like we said, in high school, Alexis was just taller and bigger than everybody. And so she didn't have to fight too hard for an offensive rebound if she missed a layup because she was able to go up and grab it. Well, funny enough, she's able to do that now at the college level. It's pretty fascinating.
The fact that she's shooting and making 3-pointers at a high level is incredible. And I will say, I'm not a scout, but in high school, the thing that always impressed me is always an attack first mentality. And you really expect to see that out of the best players.
All right. So that'll do it for the girls basketball side of things. We're at a good stopping point right now. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll dive into Class A boys, maybe touch on Class B, even a little C1 with Ashland Greenwood, especially because that's a team I'm excited to watch down the stretch here. So when we come back on the High School Saturday Show, we'll wrap it up with our final segment. We'll talk a little bit of boys basketball action here before districts really get going, and then state basketball here in a couple weeks. Once again, Luke Mullen of Lincoln Journal Star is with me. We'll be right back for the final segment on the High School Saturday Show, sponsored by Ambition Electric. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit OStreetCarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Are you tired of lousy internet and faceless customer service? It's time to experience local, honest, hassle-free, and exceptional. That's the Allo Promise. We not only provide crazy fast fiber internet, crystal clear TV, and dependable phone service, but we choose to become a part of the communities that we serve and love when everyone calls or stops by our store to say hello. So don't settle for mediocre, settle for exceptional with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/local.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Are you ready for $0 cost individual employee health insurance? How about company paid life insurance for you and your family? What about on-the-job paid training? Become part of the Landmark difference today. Join Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, at our upcoming career fairs. Chat one-on-one with our team to hear what it's really like to work with us. Career fairs will be held at Landmark locations: March 8th in Lexington, March 10th in Kearney, March 22nd in Beatrice, and March 24th in Hastings. See more details at www.landmark.careers.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
And now more Straight Talk from Straight Talk. The big wireless companies say they're the only way to get the best coverage.
Because they've got like a cajillion cell towers?
Something like that. But Straight Talk Wireless runs on those same towers, so you get the same great networks for up to 50% less.
I wonder if they're counting that one in Kickapoo, Kansas.
Oh boy. Switch today and get our unlimited plan for just $45 a month with 25 gigs at high speeds and no contract. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See straighttalk.com.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Now what do? Football is over. The weather's crappy. Man, I tell you what, it's a perfect time to go car shopping. This is Carl from Price Right Auto. Come out to Price Right in West Elk and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. With our non-commissioned sales process, we let you control the sale. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on West O Street at Price Right Auto.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop, located at 5001 O Street.
Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you. I mean, what if we had done that with bacon? Bacon is only for breakfast. We'd never have bacon cheeseburgers. We'd never be able to save a salad by adding bacon bits. We'd never have Brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Don't limit yourself. Fruitcakes for St. Patrick's Day. Fruitcakes for graduation. Fruitcakes for Thursday. Beatrice Bakery and Grandma's Fruitcakes are perfect for every occasion. Check them out in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course.
Ow! God! Ow! Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
The Ticket High School Saturday on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, back here on the High School Saturday Show, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Luke are still with you. Broke down state wrestling in the first segment, broke down some girls district basketball brackets and some results that have already happened in the middle segment. And then it's now time to go to the boys' side of things. You can catch any of the podcasts or any of the replays of these shows on our website, theticketfm.com, under the podcast page if you so desire. Once again, show sponsored by Ambition Electric, providing quality and reliable electrical work for nearly 20 years. Contact Joe Davis for any of your electrical needs at 402-217-3415. All right, Luke, I mean, first time here in the studio. I mean, are you hanging in there? Are you good?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Good. Okay, so we might have to have you back for when state basketball is on the horizon and stuff. I know it's going to be a super busy time of the year, so maybe a little bit of a pre-recorded show, maybe like the night before or something. We can try to figure something out as we go along. All right, let's go to the boys' side of things here. Some interesting matchups and intriguing brackets. A couple city teams are the number 2 seed. I mean, Pius Southwest, Lincoln Northeast, they're all 2 seeds. Lincoln East is in that category as well. I mean, first, let's start at the A7 bracket. A7, excuse me. Papillion La Vista South, 15-7 overall, is the host site or number 1 seed in that bracket. Pius X is the number 2 seed with a 16-7 record. We were kind of talking before the break. There's a way that Pius can give Papillion La Vista South some troubles if they meet up in a district final game.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a very talented Papio South team. Dino Brocal, I think, is one of the best all-around guards in Class A, scoring, rebounding, assisting. He really does it all for that team. So if you can get him shut down on the defensive side, that's going to go a long way. And I think, Papio South, just a little bit more of a guard-oriented team. Obviously, Pius X, they have the Hostriders, Brady Christensen, even Trayson Anderson off the bench, a lot of size in the post. So those guys get battling on the boards, get some second chance points. I think Pius definitely has a good chance of coming out of that bracket.
I guess in the future, what's the future of Brian Spichka's team at Pius look like? Because they're going to be losing quite a few guys. I mean, Trayson Anderson, like you kind of said, is a sophomore who is intriguing in the future, but they're going to be losing Dworak, and they're going to off the bench, and they're going to be losing the Hostriders brothers and Brady Christensen. I mean, what's the future look like for the Thunderbolts? Is this kind of their last year? I mean, obviously it's a projection and a prediction, but I mean, is this the last year that they are in a good place to maybe make it to PBA for a couple seasons?
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of their best chances, projecting things out. But I will say, having watched the Pius JV team and having had several years where some of these, seniors just come out of nowhere, I think Pius will be back in the mix. But when you have those, 2 or 3 year varsity contributors, it definitely adds something extra.
So staying in that A7 bracket, I mean, the first game between the 1 and 4 seed, it's Papillion La Vista South and Lincoln North Star. North Star is the 4 seed here with only 9 wins on the season. What's kind of hindered them? Because they have Brennan Clemens Jr. Obviously, his dad played at Nebraska, and he's talented. Is it just a lack of guys and bodies around him that can complement his game, or what's been Lincoln North Star's bugaboo this season, if you will?
Yeah, I think North Star, they have a lot of athletic, talented players. And as is really the case with any team that, picks up a losing record or can't quite hit the heights that they wanted to during the year, it's a case of consistency. I've seen North Star play some fantastic basketball. When you got Clemens and San Linnell, both those guys are shot blockers in the paint. They go hard on offense, but ultimately you need a great balance of, 3-point shooting, guard potential, guard driving in. I think, that North Star team a little bit more forward oriented, and, the guard play had to come along. You got to get that pick and roll action. And I don't think they really developed the level of, I think, pick and roll ability that during the year that they needed to.
And then the other matchup in that bracket is Lincoln Southeast and Pius X. We'll have that one on Monday night on the ticket. So a little bit of programming on Monday night just to give you guys some insight on that. We'll still have ticket weeknights with myself and Nicole Griffith. We'll be doing her show from 6 to 7, and then she's actually going to stick around for a little bit and do some color, and she's going to be calling the game alongside me from Pius X High School on Monday night. That one tips off at 7 p.m. So excited for that one. All right, couple minutes left here. Luke, where are you going to be? Where in the world is Luke Mullen going to be? Not only this weekend, where are we at early next week? And then give us a couple bold predictions. What can happen in Class A for boys?
Yeah, excited to see some of these district championships today. I'll be heading out to Wahoo here in a couple hours. A number 1 seed in the district finals there in C1. So expecting to see the Warriors make it back to the state tournament. And then when that gets done, I'm going to head down south to Freeman, number 2 seed there in C2, a great area team looking to make it back to the state tournament. And so really excited to see what happens there. And Monday we'll get that Class A district semifinal round. Going to be a great day of basketball. I'll be running around the city, hopefully see the Southwest, Omaha South game, and then probably East Millard West. 2 great matchups there.
Okay, so I guess before we close things out here, when you look at the top half of Class A's bracket, and it's familiar faces: Millard North, Bellevue West, Omaha West Side, Omaha Central is back this year, being high caliber. I mean, how much separation is there between, say, Bellevue West, who is number 2 in the state right now, and Papillion La Vista South, or between Creighton Prep? Because I believe they have Luke Youngers still. Is it Jungers or Youngers? Jungers. Okay. Luke Jungers. I mean, they still have him at Creighton Prep as well. So, I mean, how big is the separation or the gap between a team like Bell West and Creighton Prep? I mean, is there a chance that once we get to PBA, some wild things could happen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest. I think earlier in the year, I thought there was a little bit of a bigger gap. I mean, Bell West and Millard North just started the year fantastic, and West Side made a huge run there. But, January, February, those things tend to settle out a little bit. And Central, they pushed some teams, gave them a great game. I mean, Gretna upset Bell West. They beat West Side too. They've just been on a phenomenal run. Prep played Millard North within 3 points as well. You look at Southwest, a team that, isn't even a district host. They played Millard North right down there to the buzzer.
Yeah.
They played Gretna to the buzzer. Oh, it's overtime. So you look at any of these, maybe top 10, even 12 teams, and obviously, Millard North, Bell West, and I think West Side, to me, are those 3 favorites that have shown the most over the regular season, and I think are the most well suited to make a run at state. But definitely, don't count out the potential of some upsets.
Well, okay, sorry, one last one, because I want to get to it. We might go over the hour, but that's all right, because Carter will be up next. But where does a team like Lincoln Northeast fit into all this? Because they started the season scorching hot. They had a little bit of a bump there with a tough schedule. Their schedule got tougher, I should say. I mean, what's their potential for this postseason? I mean, they're the number 2 seed in, I believe, Creighton Prep's district, right?
Yep, they are. And I'll say that's a revenge tour for them right there. First round opponent, Grand Island, beat them a week or 2 ago.
That's right.
Very low scoring. And they also lost to Prep in a very close, 4 or 5 point game that they were in there to win. So they have potential there. And what I will say about Northeast too, that's a senior driven team.
Yeah.
That's a team that knows this is their chance. They're going to leave it all out there, fight for each other. And I've said it earlier in the year, I think a lot of athletic scorers who can get to the hoop in a lot of ways, they can kick and shoot, really going to need, I think, some big performances from Porter Basil, really their only kind of post player who really battles on the boards. They're going to need him to show up.
All right, that'll do it for us. We have about a minute left here. Luke, appreciate it, man. This was a lot of fun. Finally getting you in studio and stuff. A lot of exciting times right around the corner for Nebraska Preps, for their sports and all that good stuff. Obviously, state basketball starts up in a couple weeks, but first we have districts. Appreciate you hanging out with me and breaking down some districts.
Absolutely, always a good time here on the Saturday show.
Absolutely, yeah. And next week he might not be in studio, but he'll for sure be over the phone during the middle segments. Don't go anywhere. Carter Longy is next, 10 to 11. He'll be hanging out with you guys for about an hour as well. Once again, a little bit of programming update later this afternoon, 3:30. We have tip-off between Omaha Burke and Lincoln High, some girls district basketball. That'll do it. Once again, for Luke Mullen, I'm Nick Sainert. This has been the High School Saturday Show. Enjoy the rest of your day.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?